care of the people we love. I think it's really important to remember, and I think you touched on it, Tyler, that care is about connection. And as the person who's both used childcare and care for elders that have, aged at home and then later on in facilities just like this, the kind of care actually contributes to the outcomes for your loved ones. And without that quality care, it makes it really hard for the family members to go to work with peace of mind that the people that they love the most are being cared for. So I want to thank you for what you do every single day. People don't understand the level of emotion that you carry, the stories of loss and loneliness that you listen to, the way that you make every single person you touch feel like they matter. And I can't think of anything more important in these days and ages to make people feel like they matter and that they're seen. And so thank you for what you do every single day. And it's really astonishing, actually, to live in a country like Canada, where if you ask Canadians, or even if you ask foreigners what they think about Canada, the first thing that comes to mind for many, many people is that we have a universal healthcare system, where the need for healthcare should trump the ability to pay. And we work really hard to protect that healthcare system. We work really hard to protect what it represents for all of us, which is a country that fundamentally, despite regional differences, despite political differences, truly believes that we ought to take care of each other and that we are a country that's committed to doing so. And I think, as President rightly said, we've entered a time of deep global uncertainty and change. The United States has fundamentally changed its approach to trade, and as a result, we have to transform our economic strategy here in Canada. And at the same time, we are seeing rapid technological change, which is actually changing the very foundation of the world of work. So these are indeed challenging times, and I'm glad that you recognize that, Tyler. But our government is acting with urgency and with purpose, and we've already begun that work. Recently, the Prime Minister announced a number of workforce measures that will help workers and the industries affected by global trade disruptions adapt to new opportunities and have the supports to do so. A part of these measures includes a reskilling package that ensures Canadian talent is empowered with the tools and the training to thrive today and the confidence to lead tomorrow. We've also made temporary changes to employment insurance and work sharing programs to provide employers and employees with enhanced income supports and the protection of jobs despite economic uncertainty. Because a strong economy protects people, and strong people protect our country. And that leads me to today's pre-budget 2025 announcement that will build, protect, and empower Canadian workers through generational investments. First, we are building major infrastructure projects and millions of new homes, and that means that we'll need more skilled workers to get the jobs done. Unions do a phenomenal job of training people, and that's why Budget 2025 will expand the Union Training and Innovation Program with an additional $75 million over 3 years. And this will support apprenticeships in the Red Seal trades and empower unions to train the next generation of Canadian builders. We're not just going to create those jobs, we're going to create pathways to meaningful long-term careers that will really build Canada strong. Secondly, deuxièmement, pour répondre à la demande urgente de compétences à travers le Canada, le budget 2025 créera un nouveau fonds d'action pour la reconnaissance de titres de compétences étrangères grâce à un financement existant de 900 millions de dollars. En partenariat avec la province et les territoires, ce fonds permettra aux professionnels formés à l'étranger de mettre plus rapidement leur expérience en pratique et mettre l'accent sur le secteur de la santé et de la construction. When we have such talent in our country, it's such a waste to not ensure that people can reach their full potential by using the skills and the training that they've received in other countries. And so we're going to work even faster with provinces and territories so that healthcare professionals from other countries can fully utilize their skills so that we don't lose out on the talent that already exists in this country. Third, to strengthen fairness in the labour market, the government will propose amendments to the Canada Labour Code to limit the use of non-compete agreements in federally regulated sectors. This will strengthen our efforts to build one Canadian economy by promoting mobility, innovation, and opportunity across the country, giving workers the freedom to take their future in their own hands. And finally, as SEIU has often said, care can't wait. And Budget 2025 will introduce a new personal support workers tax credit backed by $1.5 billion over 5 years. Now you hear that clapping, and that's the sound of victory for folks that have worked so hard and lobbied so hard to have their profession recognized as essential to the economy of Canada. This new refundable tax credit will enable eligible PSWs to claim a refundable credit of 5% of eligible earnings, providing support of up to $1,100 per year. And it's a reflection of that critical work that I spoke of in the beginning, that PSWs do on behalf of all of us every single day. Nous nous concentrons sur la construction d'un Canada où les possibilités atteignent chaque coin de notre pays. Pour saisir ces moments, nous devons faire des choix sur la manière dont nous construisons et où nous investissons. So with Budget 2025, this is about investing in people, spending less on things that are not giving us the results we want, and focusing our efforts on building a stronger and a more independent Canada, protecting the people and the values that define us, and empowering every worker to lead in tomorrow's world. Together, we are building Canada strong, and I want to thank SEIU for your constant advocacy and your hard work. Merci.
Thank you, Minister. A round of applause again for the announcement. That was great. Thank you. Minister, on behalf of SEIU, our members, and the hundreds of thousands of healthcare workers across Canada, thank you. The Healthcare Hero Tax Credit is an historic investment. It makes life more affordable for PSWs, and it strengthens the foundation of universal healthcare. SEIU advocated for this, and your government delivered. And as they say, as my grandmother used to say, you make a promise, you keep a promise. And that's what we have today. We thank you again. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you and welcome a proud SEIU member, a fierce advocate for PSWs, and someone who embodies the very best of care work, Kelly Stevenson.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Stevenson, and I've been a proud personal support worker for over 20 years. Thank you. I care. PSWs care. And in those 20 years, I've heard politicians talk and talk about caring. But today, we see what it means when government truly does care. Today, we see what it means when government turns words into action. The last few years have been struggling for healthcare workers like PSWs like myself. After the rent is paid and the discounted grocery bills have been purchased, PSWs have little to nothing left. I know PSWs who have gone homeless, who are sleeping in their cars, but still show up to work to take care of people's families. It doesn't matter what you call us, PSWs, healthcare aides, home care workers. We are the lowest paid in the healthcare system that can't even run without us. Yet too many of us live near the poverty line. We work shoulder to shoulder with doctors, nurses, technicians, and so many others who have the dignity of a middle-class life. I love that for them. But we too deserve financial security. When times are tough, and we know right now times are tough, I have to say, all healthcare workers have seen patients and residents get sick, grow old, and we've seen our loved ones pass away right in front of us. Losing a loved one is hard, but it's a part of life. And for PSWs, that's a part of our jobs. But with time, we find strength, courage, and we carry on. But there is no bandage when workers loses dignity of work. There is no recovery from loss of purpose. Prime Minister Carney's government sees workers like me. Today, PSW can value when for so long society has told us we were not valuable. Minister, how do I say thanks for investing in us? Thank you for making life a little more affordable. Thank you for having our backs when you said you would have our backs. I just want to say one more thank you in having our backs. The Canada Child Benefit has been there to help mothers raise their children. Federal funding for $10 a day childcare helps those mothers back to work. Canada National School Food Program has been introduced so children can focus on studying instead of the rumbling in their stomachs. Federal funding has recently been delivered to help home care workers without access to a pension to begin saving for their retirement. Nobody said life was supposed to be easy, but I can tell you that all these things help make life just a little bit easier for family in Canada. And today, PSWs and healthcare workers like me have reason to keep doing what we love, a reason to be healthcare workers. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it back over to Tyler.
Thank you, Kelly. I want to thank everyone for being part of this historic moment, a moment that's about workers, about care, and about Canada's future. This is what partnership looks like. This is what progress, and together